Yeah. My name is Snoddy. And my topic today is going to be over the Netherlands. Or is it Holland? Netherlands or Holland? Interesting question. In 1992, I had the opportunity to get stationed to the Netherlands. And I got my rip sheet, and it said, "You're going to the Netherlands." My first reaction is, where's that? So I asked someone, "Where's the Netherlands?" They said, "Well, you're either going to the real cold place or the real cool place." So I inquired about the second. What's the cool place? Well, if it's the cool place, you're going to Amsterdam. Okay, still didn't tell me much. But I did remember when I was in high school, my high school teacher, history teacher, told me some cool stories about Amsterdam. So I was hoping it's the cool place. And of course, the Netherlands was the cool place. So I got to Holland, and I wanted to know the history. Because most people, they know the normal stuff. The windmills, the dikes, the Dutch chocolate, maybe the coffee shops. Those are the normal things that come to mind when you think of Holland. But I wanted to share 3 things that maybe you didn't know about Holland. Some interesting points that I thought were very fascinating about the Dutch history as I stayed there for 15 years in total. One of the things that I want to share first is a little bit of history about Holland. In 1812, America got its independence in the Great War. Before, in the 12th century, Holland was a part of the Roman Empire. They had been conquered by Spain, they had been conquered by France, they had been conquered by England, and they did a lot of conquering themselves. But in 1814, 2 years after we got over our war, they changed their name from Holland to the Netherlands and claimed their independence. Now, most people still know the Netherlands by Holland. And if you go to Holland, they're called Hollanders. And if you ask a Holland person, "What do you speak?" they'll tell you, "We speak Nederlandisch." Now this is confusing. What is the official language? Well, the official language is Dutch. All of this confusion makes you wonder, how do they understand what is what? Well, it gets even more funny. Their neighbor is German. They call themselves Dutch. They speak Dutch. They live in Deutschland. Now, which one is it? You would think it'd be Dutch. Well, this linguistic confusion has trickled all the way even here to America. In Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Dutch, people refer to them to Dutch, but actually they're of German descent. And the little funny twist is that when they came, the Dutch, Americans just assumed they were Dutch, but they weren't. They were German. Now, as we move along, and we spoke about the linguistic things, and is it Dutch? Is it Netherlands? Is it Holland? Let me give you an overview of which one it is. The country is the Netherlands. The people are Dutch. They speak Dutch. There is no country called Holland, but there is a North and South Holland in the Netherlands. Now you're like, wow, that's a unique history of the linguistics of this culture. So that's important, because we're going to trickle on to the next unique thing about them. Their views and their values. Now the Netherlands are very, very unique. They lead the world in secular rights. Like, what's a secular right? Your secular moral rights are those rights that are created without any religious influence. These are your rights as a human. And some of these examples are same-sex marriage, euthanasia, drug policies. Now, as I said, Holland is very unique. And in these areas, in 2001, the Netherlands was the first country to legalize same-sex marriage. And as you know of recent history in America, up to 2013, America has only 13 states that have it legal. Another way in which the Netherlands have led the world is in euthanism. Now, it's not that they just allow you to have any type of euthanism. There are, of course, some legal restrictions. And it's when you are hopelessly and unbearably suffering. Then a doctor can practice the right of using euthanism. And that is probably why it's no wonder that in the world, the Netherlands leads the way in assisting suicides. Another unique fact about the euthanism part and their secular beliefs, or their more open beliefs, is that they're debating that when you get to a certain age, that if you no longer have the will to live and you want to be assisted in your death, they're debating that now. Again, makes them very unique. Another part of the secular values that makes Netherlands very unique is their drug policy, the way they view soft drugs, hard drugs, but more the fact that they don't see it as a legal problem, they see it as a public health problem. And instead of arresting a person for actually using the drugs, they try to first set up a health and to treat it as a health problem. They use the legal source as if you are antisocial and you're doing something wrong within the social network of the society. But if you are using the drugs at home, not bothering society, they're not going to bother you. Doesn't mean that the drugs are legal and that Holland has a legal view on drugs. It just means that they view that if you're going to be antisocial with it and you're breaking the law, that's a crime. But if you're using the drugs in your own private usage, they're more liberal about that. That's just an example of some of their secular norms that they're very open about. The next thing we're going to talk about, which was found in the UN World Happiest Places to Live. The Netherlands was ranked 4th. Now you're probably saying, well, what constitutes happiness within a country? Political freedom, absence of corruption, level of good mental and physical well-being, job security, family. These are some of the criteria that the UN in their report gauged to see what was happiness within a country. Social corruption. The Netherlands ranked 7th as the least corrupt country in the world. Democratic Index rated Holland as the 4th, where people felt the most freedom. Some of the biggest factors they had determined that makes a country determine their happiness is your mental well-being. If you mentally don't feel happy, then you're probably going to report feeling happy.
I'm going to get skip all the way back there.
Only a quarter of the world, or only the quarter of a country's resources are allocated who are actually looking at this problem of mental health. The Netherlands use over 8% of their overall finances and their health to focus on mental health. Because they realize that looking at a person's mental health issues is the basis to making sure that their society is feeling stable and happy. Another one is unemployment. Now the Netherlands is small. As you can see, compared to Germany, it's a small country. But their unemployment, because the EU is now open, so the EU needs to be seen sort of like America. You can travel within the states. With the EU being open like that, with the crisis that occurred, in 2011, the Netherlands' unemployment rate was 4.8. Lowest, one of the lowest next to Germany in the EU. At that same time that they did the report, America was above 9.0. So that's a pretty good rate. So as I said, the Netherlands is a very rich country. It's a very open country. Very odd in their linguistic understanding, how they want to be referred to the world. With all this oddness and all this uniqueness, I like to say, I come to one of their sayings that applies to me very well. Probably atones to why I was able to live there for 15 years. Why you probably felt at home there for 15 years. They have a saying, do normal. It roughly translates, just do normal on it. As you heard from the different variations in their language, their separate views, and even what they gauge as happiness and some of the things that they have within their society, it does do everything but normal. And that's what makes them very unique and very special. And that's why I enjoyed giving as much information as I could about this little small country that actually has conquered and done a lot in the world. And one last note that I want to leave you with, just so that you can understand the impact that the Netherlands has had also on America. New York used to be called New Amsterdam. Thank you for listening to my information presentation over the Netherlands, and I hope